There's a profound quote from the Roman philosopher Seneca that I want to share with you today. Just as nothing great is created instantly, the same goes for the perfection of our moral character. But what about those who seem to lack any moral character at all? Those whom we might describe as truly evil? Before you even think about clicking away, I want you to know that understanding these signs isn't just about identifying evil in others. It's about understanding human nature itself. By the end of this video, you'll not only learn to recognize these dangerous traits, but you'll also gain insight into your own character and how to strengthen it through ancient wisdom. Trust me, what I'm about to share might just save you from making some of the biggest mistakes in judging character. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who mastered the art of understanding human nature, had an interesting perspective on evil. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, wrote in his Meditations, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." Yet, he didn't say this out of cynicism, but rather as a preparation for reality and a reminder to maintain our own virtue in the face of vice. Today, we're going to explore 7 distinct signs that might indicate someone has truly evil intentions. But remember, this isn't about condemning others, as Epictetus wisely taught. When you see someone behaving in a shameful way, don't be quick to judge. Instead, ask yourself what beliefs they might hold that would make this behavior seem appropriate to them. Let's begin with the first sign: the complete absence of empathy. True evil often manifests in an individual's total inability to feel or understand the suffering of others. This isn't just about being occasionally insensitive. We all have our moments. No, this is about something far more profound and disturbing. Imagine someone who can watch another person in extreme distress and feel absolutely nothing. No discomfort, no urge to help, not even a flicker of concern. The Stoic philosopher Heracles spoke about the concept of expanding circles of concern, where we should gradually extend our empathy from ourselves to our family, friends, community, and eventually, all of humanity. But those with evil tendencies do the opposite. They contract these circles until only their own interests remain. I recently came across a story that perfectly illustrates this. A successful businessman who, during the height of a financial crisis, deliberately bankrupted his company, destroying the lives of hundreds of employees just so he could pocket the insurance money. When confronted about the families he'd ruined, his response was chilling. That's their problem. This complete disconnection from human suffering is what the Stoics would call a corruption of the soul. The second sign is the masterful manipulation of truth and reality. Evil individuals are often exceptionally skilled at distorting reality to serve their purposes. They don't just lie, they create entire false narratives and alternative truths. They gaslight, they distort, they manipulate with such skill that even the most grounded person might begin to question their own sanity. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, emphasized the importance of living in accordance with truth and nature. But these individuals live in direct opposition to this principle. They create their own twisted version of reality, one where their actions are always justified, where they're always the victim, and where others are always to blame. Consider how they might take a simple situation, let's say a workplace conflict, and gradually twist it until black becomes white and white becomes black. They'll rewrite history, manipulate evidence, and convince others to support their false version of events. Their goal isn't just to deceive, but to completely reshape reality according to their will. This leads us to our third sign, the persistent need for power and control. This isn't about healthy ambition or leadership. Instead, it's about an insatiable hunger for dominance over others. Evil individuals don't just want success, they want to see others fail. They don't just want to lead, they want to dominate. They don't just want respect, they demand complete submission. Marcus Aurelius, despite being the most powerful man in the known world, wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Yet those with evil tendencies seek revenge not just for real injuries, but for any perceived slight against their assumed power. They view every interaction as a power play, every relationship as a game of dominance and submission. They create elaborate systems of control, using everything from emotional manipulation to financial dependence. A friend of mine once described working under such a person. Every day was like walking through a minefield. They would change the rules constantly, just to keep everyone off balance. One day you'd be praised for something, the next day that same thing would get you in trouble. Epictetus had something profound to say about such people. No one can hurt you without your permission. But these individuals spend their lives trying to prove this wisdom wrong, attempting to establish such complete control that permission becomes irrelevant. This brings us to our fourth sign, the joy in causing suffering. Now this is where we venture into particularly dark territory. Most people, even those who might be considered bad, don't actively enjoy causing pain to others. But truly evil individuals find pleasure in others' suffering. The Stoics had a term for this. They called it a corruption of reason, where the natural human inclination towards kindness becomes perverted into its opposite. Seneca wrote, "Cruel leaders are replaced only to have new leaders turn cruel." He understood that the capacity for cruelty, once embraced, tends to perpetuate itself. These individuals don't just accept suffering as a necessary evil. They actively seek opportunities to create it. They might disguise this tendency behind sophisticated justifications or even claims of teaching lessons, but the underlying motivation is the same. They enjoy watching others suffer. I recall a case where a manager would deliberately set up conflicts between employees, spreading rumors, and creating situations where they would turn against each other. When confronted, they claimed it was to test loyalty and strengthen the team. But the gleam in their eyes when describing the resulting chaos revealed their true motivation. The fifth sign is something particularly insidious: the absolute absence of responsibility. Evil individuals have mastered the art of avoiding all responsibility for their actions, while simultaneously taking credit for anything positive that happens around them. This goes beyond simple blame shifting. It's a complete rewiring of cause and effect in their minds. Musonius Rufus, another great Stoic teacher, said, "It is the sign of a superior person to take responsibility not only for their own actions, but for the example they set for others." But these individuals do exactly the opposite. They create elaborate systems of deniability, always ensuring there's someone else to blame when things go wrong. They might orchestrate entire scenarios where others take the fall for their mistakes, all while positioning themselves to claim credit for any successes. It's like watching a master puppeteer who insists they're just an innocent bystander while pulling every string in sight. The sixth sign reveals itself in their relationship with truth, the weaponization of honesty. This might sound contradictory at first, especially since we discussed their manipulation of truth earlier. But evil individuals have a peculiar relationship with honesty. They understand its power and use it as a weapon. They know that selective truth-telling can be more devastating than lies. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." But these individuals twist this principle. They might tell harmful truths at the worst possible moments, not out of any commitment to honesty, but precisely because they know it will cause maximum damage. Think of someone who waits until a public gathering to reveal embarrassing information about someone, or who uses personal confidences shared in trust as ammunition in conflicts. They're not lying technically, but they're using truth as a sword rather than a shield. And finally, our seventh sign, the inability to perceive beauty in life. This might seem less concrete than the others, but it's perhaps the most telling. Evil individuals seem to lack the capacity to appreciate genuine beauty, whether in nature, art, human relationships, or simple acts of kindness. They might pretend to appreciate these things when it serves their purposes, but their true reaction is either indifference or contempt. Epictetus once said, "Don't just say you have read books. Show that through them you have learned to think better, to be a more discriminating and reflective person." Similarly, truly good people don't just see beauty, they let it transform them. But evil individuals remain untouched by beauty, unmoved by genuine human connection, and unaffected by the natural wonders of the world. I've seen this manifested in people who can walk through a beautiful garden and see only properties to exploit, who can witness an act of kindness and immediately look for the hidden agenda, who can't comprehend why anyone would create art or music unless there's significant profit involved. It's as if they're colorblind to the full spectrum of human experience. But now that we've explored these 7 signs, you might be wondering, what do we do with this knowledge? How do we protect ourselves without becoming paranoid? How do we maintain our own virtue while dealing with those who seem to lack it entirely? The answer, as the Stoics would tell us, lies in finding the delicate balance between awareness and equanimity. As Marcus Aurelius advised, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. This doesn't mean we should be naive or unnecessarily vulnerable, but rather that we should strive to maintain our own moral character even when confronted with its absence in others. Here are some practical strategies for dealing with potentially evil individuals while maintaining your own integrity. First, practice what Epictetus called the discipline of assent. Don't immediately accept their version of reality. Take time to verify facts independently. Remember, these individuals excel at creating convincing false narratives. Trust your instincts, but verify with evidence. Second, maintain strong boundaries. The Stoic philosopher Heracles spoke about concentric circles of concern: yourself, your family, your friends, and so on. Protect these circles. Don't let manipulative individuals blur these boundaries or create unhealthy dependencies. Third, develop your own moral compass. As Seneca said, we should live as if we were living in public. This means having clear, consistent principles that don't change based on who we're dealing with or what we might gain. This internal consistency is your best defense against manipulation and gaslighting. Fourth, practice emotional resilience. Remember that while we can't control others' actions, we always maintain control over our responses. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions, but rather understanding them and not letting them be weaponized against you. Fifth, cultivate genuine relationships. Evil individuals often try to isolate their targets. Combat this by maintaining strong, authentic connections with others. As Marcus Aurelius noted, we were born to work together, like feet, hands, and eyes. These genuine relationships serve as both reality checks and support systems. But here's something crucial to remember. The purpose of identifying these signs isn't to go around labeling people as evil. That would be both simplistic and potentially dangerous. Instead, this knowledge should serve as a protective framework, helping you recognize potentially harmful situations before they escalate. The Stoics understood something profound about human nature, that most people who do evil things don't wake up in the morning twirling their mustaches and plotting villainy. Instead, as Marcus Aurelius observed, people do wrong out of ignorance of what is right and wrong. However, the individuals we've discussed today are different. They often know exactly what they're doing and choose to do it anyway. Before we conclude, I want to share one final thought from Seneca that I find particularly relevant. Associate with people who are likely to improve you. This doesn't mean avoiding all difficult people or situations. Rather, it means being intentional about who you allow to influence your life and character. Remember, recognizing these signs isn't about becoming cynical or paranoid. It's about developing wisdom and discernment. It's about protecting yourself and others while maintaining your own integrity. As the Stoics would say, it's about living according to nature and reason, even when confronted with those who have chosen to do otherwise. And if you're wondering whether someone in your life displays these signs, remember this. The goal isn't to condemn them, but to protect yourself and others while maintaining your own virtue. As Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, the best way to avenge yourself is to not be like your enemy. If you've stayed with me until this point, you've gained something valuable, not just knowledge about identifying potentially dangerous individuals, but wisdom about maintaining your own character in the face of adversity. That's the true gift of Stoic philosophy. It teaches us not just how to recognize what's wrong in others, but how to strengthen what's right in ourselves. Thank you for watching, and remember, in the words of Epictetus, No man is free who is not master of himself. Stay wise, stay strong, and most importantly, stay true to your own moral compass. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit from this knowledge. Until next time, take care and stay mindful.